Good morning. Welcome to our Mandala universes. A quick intro as we gather every day. We've been doing this 5 years, a couple months on YouTube here. A group of creative souls with space for grounding and creativity and checking in. Happy you're here. I'm trying to find a place to settle my phone so I don't have to hold it. But yeah, if you're new here, we have the chat for subscribers only for the first 20 minutes. And if you want to stick around and comment, do it. Miss M is here and she says hello. I gotta try and turn my phone upside down. Nope. All right. I guess I will hold my phone for a little while. Kathy says good morning. Cheryl's here. She says good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 18th of November. And I am in Portland, Oregon. I'm feeling a little tired this morning, so it's probably going to be a quiet mandala lead. And I think that sounds wonderful. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy you're here too. Miss M says, so lovely to see you. I'm munching on cinnamon toast. Yum. And Cheryl says, thanks for taking the lead. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. I think the other day, Carol said, welcome home when I said I was here, and it kind of sat with me, so that was nice. Kathy says, quiet is lovely. I will put the caveat out there that I have a dog with me who sometimes likes to bark to protect the house. So we'll see what happens. I also have a cat with me. This is Gilbert. Want to say hi, Gilbert? Yeah. How's everyone checking in today? I think my check-in is sleepy. You know what? I forgot all of my art supplies. I'm gonna go grab them real quick. Hawkins, it's okay. Be right. Here, you can look at these dried flowers. Thank you for letting me. Someone's here. Hawkins, you're doing your job wonderfully. You're doing a very good job. Okay. Gilbert, Miss M says hi. All right, well, we can always check in at any point in time today, but I'm gonna flip the camera actually on these flowers again and lead us in a little bit of a grounding. Yeah, look at this, nice fall festive dry flower bouquet. All right. Oh, Suzanne is here. I'm glad she's got us. We are happy you are here. I know our time change always interferes with international folk and people who live in Arizona and Hawaii. So, everyone, go ahead and settle in to yourself. I'm sitting My legs are crossed, so I'm going to uncross them and keep my feet flat on the ground. Deb has joined. Hi, Deb. We're just about to start our grounding. I've got my feet flat on the ground. I'm sitting straight up in my chair and just feeling my connection to the air around me. The air is a little cool on my skin. There's a nice soft cushion under my seat. Just breathing and notice what you are experiencing. Let your breath come naturally, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. I want you to think about your breath coming in your nose, or if you're stuffed up in your mouth, and how it comes in and makes its way down your throat and just, or into your lungs, and just will eventually make it everywhere in your body. All your cells receive the air that they need. Just a simple act that our body does on its own. It can nourish us so completely. Breathing in and out. Let that breath go to any place that needs a little extra attention. It might be your neck, your shoulders, your back, your middle. It could be anything. Breathing in and breathing out. I happen to have a poetry book right in front of me. So I'm going to just open it and maybe see if I can find a poem. And this one is from the Book of Hours by Rainier Marie Rilke. And it's translated by Mark S. Burroughs. I love the dark hours of my being, for they deepen my senses. In them, as old as letters, I find my daily life already in holy words so soft and subdued. From them, I've come to know that I have the room for a second life, timeless and wide. And at times, I'm like the tree, ripe and rustling, standing above the dead boy's grave, gathering him in its warm roots, fulfilling the dream he'd lost in sorrows and songs. In the woods on the 22nd of September. I guess you never know what you're going to get when you do a poetry roulette. I forgot one supply. I'll be right back. All right. Miss M says, once more, please. Of course. I love the deep hours of my being, for they deepen my senses in them as in old letters I find my daily life already lived in holy words so soft and subdued. From them I've come to know that I have room for a second life, timeless and wide. And at times I'm like the tree, ripe and rustling, standing above the dead boy's grave, gathering him in its warm roots, fulfilling the dream he'd lost in sorrows and songs. In the woods on the 22nd of September. Kind of reminds me of just, we need the darkness for the lightness, and taking time to sort of sit with ourselves, which is one thing we do here. And you can look back at your pages, and they're holy pages. You've already lived them, and you get to live them again. So here I keep my mandalas in this little notebook, and sometimes they, for me, are travelscapes, or things I see, or even abstract. And mine are starting to look more and more different. I'm being a little more loose and free in this notebook, really capturing and trying to capture like what I'm feeling or thinking about at the moment. But we start this practice with a circle to a whole circle, capturing your breath, and then you fill it however you want. Carol says, good morning, all you beautiful souls, glad to be with you. And Susanna says, thanks, Maclena, so glad too. It's been the time change. I've been checking at 5, 5:30, 6:30, and today I checked at 7. Susanna, I sent you a message, and I wonder if I accidentally told you it was 5. I'm sorry if I did. Or maybe you didn't get my message. So as I said earlier, today is Tuesday, November 18th. But Susanna also says, thank God I am here now. You have found us. We are here. Mark your calendar. We do a crazy time change again in March. We will try to be better about reminding people. I know I wrote it in the comments, but there's a lot in the comments. And you're getting hugs, Susanna, and also others are expressing their gratitude for your being here. It's a slightly cool morning in Portland. Some clear skies and some clouds. Not necessarily rain predicted, so I'm going to go for a hike today. I think I'm going to go into Forest Park, one of my favorite urban parks, with a friend. I was lucky enough to spend the weekend with 2 friends it's called the Gorge. It's just east of Portland. The Columbia River divides Washington and Oregon. It's a beautiful, wide river. and it's got really steep sides, cliffs, rocks that have a lot of hiking, and then there's a fertile fruit valley. There's fruit and wine and windsurfing in the area. It's the place that I actually got married in, so it's a pretty special place for me. And I was able to spend the weekend with two friends, which time flies. It has been a year and a half since I've seen them in person, and it's really nice to catch up. The power of friendships, the healing power of friendships is pretty amazing. Kathy asks how long I'm in Portland. I'm here until next Monday, so about a week. And later today I get to see Deb, which I'm excited about. I've been very fortunate to have just seen her. I'll see her again, happily. And Jan says beautiful pictures that you posted, Susanna, on a chat. They really were, Susanna. The power of a smile, of celebration, is abundant in your photos. And Kathy says, oh yay. Yeah, it turns out this is a great week for me to be here in Portland. I am able to get together with a lot of people in a relatively short period of time and do some really cool things. One of my friend's husbands directed a movie, and it's a movie about autism, and the premiere is this weekend. So I could reserve myself a spot and I get to go to that and support and see that. The Portland Art Museum, which I also used to be a docent or a guide at, is having like a grand reopening of this huge like expansion project that they just did. So I have a free ticket to go to that. I get together with my book club. Get together with my book club. Of course, I'm gonna stock up on some art supplies at the art supply store. Carol says, glad to hear you are enjoying so many events and people in Portland, Amy. Enjoy. Thank you. Yeah, today I get to see 3 friends today. Well, 4, one already, the one I'm staying with. I saw her, she went to work. 3 people, 3 more people today, including hiking and eating together and catching up. I'm traveling with a limited art supply, and I feel like all 3 of my last mandalas that I've done, heck, all 5, I've just wanted to add like gold wash of paint too, and I didn't bring my gold. I guess sometimes when you leave, everything that you have and you take a limited supply is when you notice what you might be missing. So now I know gold paint is important for me. We still have a lot of time today. It's 8:21. So this poetry book, they have a poem and then they have kind of an interpretation or some additional information about either the poet or the poem. I'm just going to read a little bit of that, I don't know, interpretation, because I'm curious. It says, Pamela says, good morning. Thank you for leading me today as I rest. You're welcome, Pamela. I hope that you feel rested and supported and you get what you need. And Miss M says, gold paint, opaque or translucent, is brilliant hearts and joy glimmering in that darkness. I think you're right. It always brings that lightness, which I crave in most things that I do. So in the translation or interpretation of the poem, it calls out, I love the dark hours of my being. For Rilke, darkness is a place of enlightenment. Storms are too. He is a poet interested in bridging gaps between darkness and light, between God and humanity, between eros and prayer, between self and others, between now and eternity. These dark hours deepen his senses. Darkness, for Rilke, is holy. It is a place of knowing, sustenance, and contentment. Rilke was writing these early poems in the autumn of 1899. Turns of the century are often imagined as the birth of a new era, an occasion to enter a young century with a fresh sense of imagination and possibility. Rilke's poems mix the ecstatic, I have room for a second life, timeless and wide, with caution. The upcoming century held as much foreboding for him as it did promise for others. A poet who's constantly interested in the opposites, right? Darkness and light, God and humanity, eros and prayer, between self and others. We always talk about the both and. All these contradictions have to exist. It's now 8:25. If any words are coming up for people, I'm happy to read them and share them. Maybe there's no words, and that's okay too. I don't always have words. This is kind of what my mandala looks like today. Very abstract. I think I'm inspired by my view out the window. We've got lovely fall colors. And a lot of motion. Deb says, "See you soon, my sweet friend, willing to cherish. Love." Pamela says, "My mandala word is contemplation and feeling sorrow." Ms. M says, "Make room for a second life." Kathy says, "Safe in the dark." Ms. M, I might play off of your words and think about, these fall colors and how they feel almost dancing, and it might be like a celebration. It could be a celebration of what's to come. These fall leaves go away and make room for new buds and stuff in the spring. Oh, I thought I have to sneeze. It's stuck in my nose. Ugh. I actually wrote celebration of life, making room for another. Tuesday, November 18th. Cheryl says, "Stretchy, bendy, lengthened time this morning." Thank you, Amy. And Jan says, "Healing power of friends. Amazing." I agree, Cheryl and Jan. I think today felt long, and what a wonderful way for me to wake up from sleepiness into a state of being ready to adventure into my day with friends and loved ones. The power of friends. Yeah, I'm feeling that. And Ms. M says, "Thanks, sweet Amy and friends." So with that, it's now 8:30 here in the Pacific Coast time. Thank you for joining. I love you all, and I wish you all continued peace and longevity to your day.